All right, everybody. Welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. Jersey Johnny coming at you with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
One of these days, I want to hear the rest of that song.
Yeah, I'll sing you the whole thing. You can hear the whole thing. It's like a 5-minute long song, actually.
What's this? Hey,
little log from
it's a long log.
That's just log. Log is the name of the band.
No. I mean, the song is a long log song.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there you go. And it's the Big Toe is the name of the.
Yeah, I got pretty much figured that one out.
Yeah, there you go. And of course that was Harry Lugnuts from the craft beer from the sports podcast.
This is the craft beer podcast.
This is I forget, which I'm doing sometimes. I'm 3 beers in as well now. Anyway, that's Harry Lugnuts from the sports podcast on Wednesday nights. That's him singing, and he played bass and wrote as well. So anyway, how are you on this fine evening, Mr. Samurai?
I'm doing fun. I'm drinking with chickens. Hey, chickens. Damn chickens.
Happy National Drinking with Chickens Day.
Mm-hmm.
And I must ask.
They're running like all over the freaking place here.
Begs the question, what the hell is Drinking with Chickens Day?
It's the day set aside to drink with chickens.
But why?
I don't know.
Is there a point behind it?
They may have lobbied for it. I'm not sure.
The chickens?
Yeah. They're really kind of annoying drunks, by the way.
Gotcha. I can imagine.
Yeah. There's Shut up.
You know what I have to say to that chicken?
Cluck you.
Cluck you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, enough of this garbage.
There you go. So what else is it today?
I don't even know what that was.
What else is it today?
Oh, that was thunder, apparently.
Thunder. That was thunder? Sounded like clapping. Yeah.
It did sound like clapping. What else is it today? Okay, so if you're in Jersey, if you live in northern Jersey, we apologize. We didn't make up the day. We're just reporting that it's National Pork Roll Day.
Happy National Pork Roll Day.
I don't know if there's a National Taylor Ham Day for those of us up north.
Oh.
And again, New Jersey, the state that will get into fistfights over breakfast meat.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What you call it.
There you go.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. What are you going to do?
I'm just going to eat either one of them. I don't care what you call it. It's
delicious. Call it whatever you want. There you go. It's easy, right? If I'm in South Jersey, I order a pork roll, egg, and cheese. If I'm in North Jersey, I order a Taylor ham, egg, and cheese.
Because if you order the wrong thing in the wrong part of the state,
you don't want to do that.
They won't serve you.
No, they won't. Or they'll at least get pissed off. And you really don't want the person cooking your breakfast to be mad at you.
No, probably a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. Anyway, so, all right. Well, I need a beer. I don't know about you.
I have a beer.
You have a beer.
I already have a beer.
Mm-hmm. It's also National Taffy Day, by the way, right?
It is Taffy Day.
Happy National Taffy Day.
There's one other. And it's also World Turtle Day.
Happy World Turtle Day. There you go.
Mm-hmm. Happy day to all you turtles around the world.
Happy to all the chickens drinking with everybody and the turtles all around the world.
Those groovy turtles.
Eat your pork roll and taffy sandwiches, and we're going to get started with the podcast tonight. How's that sound?
We're doing what?
I said we should get started now. We should bring on the guest.
Oh, that's right. We have a guest.
We have a guest tonight.
Let's bring on the guest.
Let's bring on the guest.
With this guest is when we say he's out there, we're not talking about personality. We went out west. He's definitely out west.
I'll let you introduce him since you've met the man before.
No, I haven't actually.
Since you have been talking to the man before.
I'm like, what am I even talking about?
You were out there, I assumed.
I had not. I've reached out to him because this will be the first time we've had a fellow podcaster on the show.
This is true.
So I was out in Salt Lake, really kind of dug the scene there. It's a very interesting scene. There's a lot of nuances to it. So we wanted to talk to somebody out there. So I reached out to David Jimenez from Tastemaster's Drink.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring him on.
David, welcome to the show.
What's up, gentlemen? How you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
There you are.
I mean, I shaved for this, so
there you go. I got some of the gray out of my beard for this.
Nice. Look at you.
Not a lot.
Just some of it. Yeah.
Some of it.
What's up, boys? How you doing?
I picked the ones. Pretty good. Yourself?
Yeah.
Can't complain. Even if I did, no one will listen. So
no one
that's how I
always say. Who would listen?
Oh man, I'm closing that app just in case, so I don't hit one of the buttons.
I was going to say it's probably a good idea if you do that.
It's kind of like deleting pictures that you don't want popping up at inopportune moments.
I hate when that happens.
Story for another day. Maybe we'll tell you after the show, David.
Exactly. Anyway, so David, tell us what you're drinking. I don't have a scroll for you.
Actually, so on Friday, Strap Tank made the first. So Strap Tank was open, and I work for Strap Tank, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, he's also and the brewer at Strap Tank Brewing in Lehi, Utah. So
yeah.
there you go.
So there's 2 breweries in Utah County. So you got Salt Lake. Just south of Salt Lake is where the Mormons live, like the hub of the Mormons. And there's 2 breweries, and they're both Strap Tanks. One in the north end called Strap Tank Lehi, one in the south end Strap Tank Springville. Unfortunately, as of right now, Taste Masters and Strap Tank are not one and the same. I get really confused, and people get confused in the industry about that. We'll see if that can get glued together eventually. However, we launched our first Czech Amber Lager.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. So 100% Czech saws. This dropped on Friday for a competition on Saturday, and boys, I can't get enough of this. This is a sexy style.
What was the one of my favorite styles actually? Johnny and I will be drinking a Czech lager as our second beers that we picked up this weekend.
Exactly.
What competition was it in?
So it was a homebrew competition. Not that we entered, but we were affiliates part of. So we judged in it, and then we actually had it. It's called Lagerpalooza. It's the biggest homebrew competition in the North America.
Lagerpalooza, I love it.
I love it already.
All lagers, homebrew competition, just all lagers. That's how it should be. And we sent our Czech Amber, and just to support lagers. Fuck yeah.
That's great. That's fucking awesome.
As one of our friends hashtags, lager is life.
Lager is life, yes.
Actually, he calls our podcast a Lager is Life podcast.
Lager is Life podcast, yes.
I like that.
I guess so.
Like if you guys would have called me and say, hey, we're the L Room guys, I'd be like,
yeah, right.
Ain't coming on.
We're the IPA room guys. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Control Alt Delete right there.
There you go. So, what are you drinking there, Samurai? As if I didn't know.
You know, because you brought it for me.
All the way back from Nashville.
So Johnny was in Nashville for CBC, and as was David Jimenez. He was there as well, but they didn't.
I didn't see you, David. I didn't. I looked. I didn't see it. It's only a couple people there, so
I was wearing a romper. Did you guys see a guy in a romper?
Oh, so you were there for the Swiftie concert too, right? Then
obviously, were you not?
I had the glitter going on Sunday. It was fine, you know.
Well, anyway, it's Tennessee Brewers collab for CBC. It is the TriStar Blonde, and I'm drinking that now, and I'll be finishing it soon.
There you go. There you go.
Move on to the next.
There you go. Well put. There you go. All right. I am drinking from Human Robot. There you go. From Human Robot in Philly.
I love this brewery.
They're Hallertau Pills. This is fantastic, this beer. It's really tasty.
Actually, and we were talking about Czech lagers. They make 3 different beautiful Czech lagers. They make a pale, they make a dark, and they make a ruby.
Yep. Yeah, they're Czech lager. They're Tamabe Pivo, and then their Polo Tamabe is fantastic too. Yeah, this is really tasty.
Czech lagers. I need my Czech lager. Okay.
That's really tasty too. We'll talk among ourselves. Yeah, but this this Hallertau is pretty damn good. I had it at the brewer. I was like, I had to get a 4-pack of it. So.
And one of these days, I'll get a shirt from Human Robot. The only problem is almost all their shirts have a Philly team reference on it.
That's not true. I have one.
There's a Pittsburgh Pirates
one. Pittsburgh Pirates reference on it. So that's fine. I'm fine with that.
I'm okay with that. But
the Pirates have the best hats in the game.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, they do. Those
not a Pirates
painter hats. Yeah,
for sure.
That's one of my favorite stadiums too. See a game, and I've seen a bunch of games at PNC Park. I love that. Love that ball field.
I was there last time. I was there was Jackie Robinson Day. Beautiful day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Beautiful day.
Yeah, beautiful. So
we're both Mets fans, and in the atrium for the stadium is a large number 42. Because the stadium is actually modeled after Ebbets Field, where Jackie played, though he never played for the Mets.
But he played for the Mets, no. But it's modeled after Ebbets Field, and Jackie Robinson is baseball, so Ebbets Field, yeah. But no, at last time I was at PNC was actually last October, David. We were there. It was the Pirates versus the Cards last week of the season, and I actually watched Albert Pujols hit his last home run, his 703.
Wow,
so that was pretty cool.
that is
That was pretty cool that night. So anyway,
Oh, back to beer.
back to beer. Okay.
I mean, I can talk baseball all day too.
We can talk baseball.
That's
day,
a different. That's a different podcast.
different podcast. Yeah, we do that. It's tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I do the Get On With It sports podcast. Is tomorrow night. So if you want to come on it, by all means, come on. But
I'm gonna have to take a few pulls of this to wash the last one out.
there you go. All right, you do what you have to do, and we'll do that. So, all right, David, let's start talking about you. First thing we got to do is take care of some business that we always ask everybody that comes on the show. To the best of your recollection, what was the first craft beer you ever had?
Easy. The first craft beer I had was Uinta's Cutthroat. Cutthroat was they're calling it a pale ale, but it's actually technically an ESB. But if you scream ESB to most common folk, they have no idea what the hell ESB is. Extra special bitters. It's kind of that word right there. That terminology kind of turns people off. Bitters. No one wants a bitter beer usually. So they named it a pale ale. They entered it into ESB categories. And Uinta is celebrating their 30-year anniversary this year in July or end of June, one of the two. But yeah, it has the Cutthroat Trout on it. It's the Cutthroat Pale Ale. And the first time I had it, I fucking hated it. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I hated it. And then they had one called the Hoodoo, which is their Kolsch style, and I drank the shit out of that one. That was the next craft beer I had in Utah. And then after that was Firestone Walker's Pivo. That was the next one.
You went right to Pivo. Nice.
So I realized I went from kind of like a pale, darker, kind of a hopper, not hop heavy, but more hop forward beer. It's more those crushable kind of sexy, just straight Pilsner malt beers, and found my jam.
But that's what I love about the ESBs. You don't get a ton of hop flavors, the bitterness. So it's like they're putting in the boil, they're pulling out the alpha acids, and not a ton of the resins with a later addition to it. So you still get that malt character, but you get the bitterness of the hop oil. So
right, because they are more malt forward beers, and that's my jam.
Yeah, I like it. I love a good ESP. We're supposed to go by Tim. He never texted, so I don't think he released it. He's probably releasing it this weekend.
Yeah,
ESP. So I may pop down there on Saturday. I'll let you know.
Yeah, I won't.
I know you'll be busy. I know. But
I'll be at.
Trust me, I'd rather be where you will be on Saturday than in Freehold, New Jersey.
No,
He's going to see a Hanson reunion, actually.
Oh yeah.
First time I question my sexuality.
No, I will be in Montreal Saturday night. I'll be sitting in Pit Caribou. I love that brewery. It's one of the breweries though in Montreal that English is definitely not the dominant language. Most of the other breweries, English is.
Right.
Pit Caribou, you better know a little French there.
Well, now I got to ask you a question. Are you going to be sitting in Pit Caribou, or are you going to be sitting in a pit with a caribou?
Both.
It could possibly be both, right?
Yeah, I've made plans the night before. I've actually got a reservation at 6:30 to be sitting in a caribou.
In a caribou.
In a caribou. On a caribou?
No.
In a caribou.
The restaurant's name is Caribou.
Caribou, okay.
Actually, so I'll be in a caribou.
Fair enough. All right, David, back to you. Let's kick this on. We're 14 minutes in. Let's find out about the podcast. I really want to know about Taste Masters. Let's talk about this. When did you start the podcast? How long have you been doing this now?
So I was in planning in 2019, and I launched the first week of 2020. How I wanted to bridge the gap between brewers and bartenders, because I realized bartenders were the first line of defense for the consumer. So when I got to know the brewers are kind of like these trolls or these foreign people in the cellar down below.
Right. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
We know them. Yeah.
And they are making these awesome beers, and I didn't know how to showcase these artists, because they were making craft beer, and to me craft beer was different because my whole life I drank, Yellow Jacket, Coors Light, Pacifico. That's all I had. I didn't know anything about you can make this shit. It's not just made in Mexico or Anheuser-Busch. It was different, right? And when I met these guys, they had a heart and soul, and they're trying to make a product that was good, and there was different styles. And that's when, because I was a bartender for about 5, almost 7 years, and I came and opened the brewery here at Strap Tank in Lehi, 2019, and I just went down that rabbit hole. Once I figured out who the brewers were, I want to learn more about how you made craft beer and why it was so cool, why it was so delicious. And they would come tell me, hey, this is what I made, and this is why I made it, this is how it made it, this is what it tastes like. And so I would take that information as a bartender and try to upsell it and sexify it in front of the customers, because a lot of people, especially in Utah, a lot of people would come to my bar and be like, hey, I want a Bud Light. Well, we're a craft brewery and we don't have Bud Light, but I have something similar to a Bud Light, right? So then I had to try to educate why was it like a Bud Light? Why was it close to a Bud Light? Why is it better than a Bud Light, in my opinion? Anyway, long story short, I launched the podcast in 2020, first week, and I decided I had 2 goals. 1, educate everyone, and 2, I was going to release every week no matter what. And I did it, and it's been going for 3.5 years. In that process, after COVID happened, the world shut down. The world was really weird. Sure. I lost my job first as a bartender. The brewer at the time left, and the assistant brewer was like, hey, do you want a job? I'm like, hell yeah.
As a matter of fact. Yeah.
And I would shadow these guys, and I would go and, hey, learn the process. And I just went like a rabbit hole.
Sure.
And my current boss right now, I owe him my job because he's the one that got me into the brewing scene. So I went from bartender to brewer and still connecting the dots. So taking my brewing knowledge and growing my brewing knowledge it went from trying to educate the consumer to showcasing the brewer or distiller. So when I found these artists or these brewers, I realized they were making each beer had a story. The beers you guys are probably drinking, like that Tennessee beer you were drinking, has a story.
Of course it does.
It has a story. I want to hear why. And there's an artist behind it. And every artist I'm convinced that everyone in this world wants to be heard. And if everyone was heard, there'd be less bullshit in the world. And so I just sat back and like, hey, tell me your story. Why'd you make this beer? I'll listen. Tell me. And after that, another rabbit hole, and I started meeting all the brewers in Utah and hearing their stories and why, like their drive. And I did that forever. And in that process, I'm also becoming a brewer and learning the brewing process. So I've been a brewer for almost 3 years now, and podcast for 3.5 years, and they're kind of coincide. And yeah, now
Who was your first guest?
Actually, it's Firestone Walker, head brewer, that turned opened a brewery, I guess was a head brewer in Salt Lake called Salt Flats Brewing. His name is Scott Parker. He's the guy that the Pivo Pills, kind of ironically, one of my favorite first beers I ever had, he's the one that actually invented or made that recipe that's now famous and everyone knows. Nice. And it's global. Scott Parker, right now, he's actually brewing in Guam at the moment.
Really?
So
Interesting.
His wife is military, Air Force. She got stationed in Guam. So he's like, I'm going to look for a brewery. And there's one brewery in Guam, and he's now currently brewing in Guam.
And it's probably making some great stuff now.
There you go.
I don't know. I have no contact with him now because Guam is way over there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a ride.
The time zone difference is a little even bigger than the ones we have between us.
Slightly off, right? Yeah.
Well, first time I had him, he came and he had 12 beers lined up, everything he's ever made at that brewery. And we went down the line from lightest to darkest beer. It was like a tasting, doon, 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 doon. And it showcased all the beers he made, and I just was blown away. And I go, you know what? I want to do this. I want to be able to make light beers, dark beers, and I want to be able to educate people the way that he just educated me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That brewery is all about educating too. Dave and Anders and I can't remember the third guy. They go out. They travel the country educating people about their beers. I sat through a seminar on drinking sour beers with Anders from that brewery, and he really taught us quite a bit about how to taste a sour beer. And there were brewers from New Jersey in that course. It was really cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely something that I love doing. I love educating people, especially, I love educating people that want to be educated. I don't want to force education on somebody that doesn't give a shit, right?
Well, but I always say when knowledge increases, behavior changes. It's that simple. I mean, whether you like it or not, at least you know about it.
Well, as we know, hatred is born out of ignorance.
Absolutely.
So, your format, are you all audio, or do you do
right now? I'm all audio. Yeah. So I'm trying to switch to video at the moment, but audio was just my jam.
I'll tell you why we did what we did. When we started this, really quick, I want to hear about it.
And it's a big difference between the way we go about doing things because of the way we started.
Right. So we started doing like 10-minute Facebook live teasers for our podcast, and then we would just record the audio, right? And then it would release later that week. So we did it on Tuesday night, just 10 minutes. Then we recorded the podcast, and then by Thursday, Friday, it was live on the podcast channels. But we did one night. This is when Dave was in Rhode Island. He was sitting on his roof because it was at the moment was nice night.
Well, because I also didn't have Wi-Fi.
And he had Wi-Fi, so he had to use his phone, right? So he's up on the roof, right, drinking a beer, and weather, like bad storms are coming in, right? And he actually showed on that teaser, right? Look at these clouds coming in, right? So by the time we were done with it, and then we started recording the audio portion.
And I took shelter under a table.
And like whatever it was, an updraft, a mini tornado, something lifted the table up from over him and threw it out into the courtyard.
But we were in video.
I said, son of a bitch, if we were only live video. So that's why we're all live video. So the whole thing's live. We just pulled the audio off of the live video and then put that up. So
and nothing interesting has happened since.
And nothing interesting.
Other than our guests. There's been
a few things that are interesting.
But they tend to only be. But the funny thing is, it's not even the video. It just tends to be the audio that gets caught.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But in any event, so you basically bounce around. You have brewers on. You have bartenders on. What types of guests do you have on the show?
Yeah, so I went for breweries and brewers for a while, and then I realized that fermentation process was very important. So I make ethanol. As a brewer, I make ethanol. But there's other individuals that make ethanol as well. There's distillers, kombucha makers, sake makers. And then I had people in the industry that were putting their coffee in it. They're putting their chocolate in it. There were local individuals putting their product in our products, right? So can I hear why? I want to hear your story. And so it went from a beer podcast to a fermentation project. So I currently have the biggest fermentation podcast in Utah showcasing these artists. So it's all about distillers, brewers, like I said, sake, kombucha, because even kombucha's yeast, SCOBY's a yeast, and it's all about fermentation. Yeah, they don't produce a lot of alcohol, but they understand where the process is, and they need sugar water. The yeast eats that sugar water and then produces a product. And so, man, it's expanded, and I'm starting to get into hot sauce where like there's fermenting hot sauce or
sure.
So like if you're playing with yeast and fermenting, I will talk to you.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Because in Utah, I feel like there's kind of a niche for in Utah specifically, there's a dominating religion where ethanol products are frowned upon. It's kind of a faux pas topic here in Utah. And it's really cool to see a community that's not getting love because the dominated culture is kind of, you know what? We don't agree with it. We rather drink soda pop. So fun fact, in my brewery, my number one selling beverage is Diet Coke. And my number two selling beverage is my lager.
Interesting.
Try to find that anywhere in the country.
I was going to say, well, in New Jersey, you'll never find Diet Coke as the number one selling beverage in a brewery because we're not allowed to sell anything Diet that you Coke. Don't make in the brewery.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But, we can't even sell you a bottle of Poland Spring water. We have to give you some tap water. That's it.
Right.
That's it.
So it's really funny because I've always thrown the joke around that I want to make a Diet Coke seltzer and see if I can like bridge the gap of like, hey, it's Diet Coke flavored, but it'll make you feel better.
So it's a shittier tasting soda flavored seltzer.
Yeah, less sugar, more alcohol. See what happens.
Hey, go for that. That's a good idea.
It's interesting because there's a lot of preconceptions about Utah, like that there's no drinking going on there. When I was there, I found a lot of drinking going on in Utah.
But you were in Salt Lake. Salt Lake's the drinking hub of Utah.
It wasn't just Salt Lake though, because I was in Moab. A lot of drinking in Moab. I was in Springdale, and I was in St. George. A lot of drinking going on in all of those places. I was even in
By
Colorado.
you, at least, anyway.
Well, no, people around me as well.
Who will help you?
I mean, I'm pretty certain that
Where can I drink in Utah?
I'm pretty certain that I increased. I put a huge percentage increase in alcohol sales everywhere I went down there. But I was even in Colorado City, Arizona, and sitting at a brewery there. You know,
well, it's not Utah.
It's not Utah, but it's still. It basically is. It basically is Utah. The reason being is that portion of Arizona there. It's broken off from the rest of Arizona by a very large ditch in the ground that we call the Grand Canyon. So they associate more with Utah. As a matter of fact, as a matter of fact, Colorado City, even though the rest of Arizona will not go to daylight savings, Colorado City will because most of their customers are in Utah.
Utah, yeah, there you go.
So,
on that note, that we're talking about Utah. Let's pull off from taste messages for a second, David. Talk about growing up in Utah.
Yeah, so I'm originally from South Texas. Came to Utah to follow my mom to help her raise my sisters. I have 2 younger sisters. Came and did that. So I've been here for most of my life, and Utah's home. Utah's beautiful. It has all 4 seasons. It's southern Utah is red rock, gorgeous. Northern Utah is just mountainous and beautiful. We have west side of the Rocky Mountains are just beautiful. The environment is fantastic. The culture, however, is very interesting. Trying to grow up LDS. So I was LDS at the beginning, trying to figure out, how God became your life and this, that, and the other. And
for those of us watchers that don't know, that's Latter-day Saints.
Latter-day Saints, yeah, Mormons basically is the exact term for it. About 18, I was given a choice. Hey, what do you want to do? And I said, fuck this. I want to be myself. I want to be able to do what I want to do. And I went and lived in Long Island for a year. Lived in Long Island. Was 20 when I was in Long Island. I'm like, I just want to get cultured. So
where in Long Island?
Massapequa area.
Okay.
So I was trying to get out of the bubble. Utah has like a bubble, is what they call it. And I got out of the bubble, and I realized that there's people that can still be LDS and still be cool and handle their shit. And there were people that were not LDS and still good people. There were still good people everywhere. So you didn't have to be religious to be a good person. Okay. So my mind was just shifting. I was in a different, Massapequa is its own beast. I got a lot of rat bastards. Rat bastard. Like I got all that. I grew up on my 21st birthday, I went to Manhattan. My first drink I ever had was some foofy drink from what's that Hard Rock Cafe in Manhattan.
Okay.
But I had a drink, and then I realized.
Oh boy,
much better bars to go to in Manhattan.
Oh god, yeah.
But as a Sheffield Utah boy,
come.
Because in Utah, all we have is like Chili's, Applebee's, Sizzler.
Sure.
And we have chain restaurants in Utah. That's the one caveat, right? So anyway, had my drink. I didn't die. Didn't get struck by lightning. My life didn't change.
It happened.
I didn't have
clouds didn't open up, thunderbolts come down. It wasn't like
the walls didn't bleed.
Wasn't raptured.
Angels didn't cry. Nothing happened. It was like that.
And then I realized that because my grandmother, she was Catholic growing up, so I had this weird. My grandma is the nicest human being I've ever met in my entire life. She's the reason why I'm brown. I'm me. My Jimenez side comes from her, right? Mm-hmm. You're gonna tell me that because she's not Mormon or LDS, she's a bad person? No, I can't believe this. I just don't do it. So anyway, that's when the wheels started turning, and I just started. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be unapologetic me, but not be an asshole. As long as I'm not an asshole and being a good person, I'll be okay.
Sure. And
that's what happened. Got a job as a bartender. Trying to figure out why this secret alcoholic products were evil. I'm gonna master them. With handling my shit at the same time. And I did.
And without having to sacrifice any chickens or
no goats. No goat slaying.
No goats. There you go.
Never got covered in blood once. So that's good.
It's always a plus.
Yeah.
So I call that a good day.
It was a great day.
I work in Manhattan, so not getting splattered with blood is always a good day.
Oh yeah, that's
if you can work in Manhattan and not get splattered with blood, that's a good day. Absolutely. Sure.
No, but Massapequa. So
or urine.
I love Long Island. Long Island's got a place in my heart, and
There you go.
can't wait to go back.
But you don't pronounce it properly.
So
It's Long Island.
It's LON
Space
GISLAND. Long Island. Yeah.
Long Island.
You're right. But
you've lost your pronunciations already.
I have. Sorry, I've been gone for about 12 years now, 13 years. I can't do it anymore. But I haven't had that same quality of pizza since I went to Italy. Like that, Italy was the next best pizza, but Long Island.
This whole area.
Oh yeah, Long Island, New York, New Jersey.
That pizza.
Little bit of Connecticut, best pizza. Anywhere.
Very little bit of Connecticut.
It's real. It really is real.
You'd be proud of Long Island now because there are a lot of breweries have popped up there. Bunch of them friends of the show.
Oh yeah.
Spider Bite. What's the one with the number in? I can never.
27A.
27A.
Montauk.
We've had some good time out there.
Here's a good story for you guys.
Oh, San City. San City. Yeah.
When I was there, I met someone, and apparently this guy didn't like me. Jets fan. Not that Jets fans are bad. Hey, wait.
I live with a Jets fan.
So he can't comment.
This guy goes, "Hey, you know what? You seem really cool. You should go to Fire Island. Best place ever. Go to Fire Island." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, go to Fire Island. You love Fire Island."
Uh-huh.
And I was going to go to Fire Island. Then I realized a local stopped me like, "Hey, it's not for you. Don't go to Fire Island.
Don't go to Fire Island."
No, it's got a cool lighthouse though.
I mean. Yeah, there's aspects of Fire Island that are cool, but overall,
I wonder why, right? So if I don't like you,
but it's all good. I mean, whatever, you do you, right? You enjoy it and go. But yeah, the lighthouse actually is pretty cool at Fire Island. Yeah. But
the black flies aren't though.
No, they suck.
Yeah, they suck.
They're worse than the greenheads down on the Jersey Shore.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. What football? By the way, really quick, David.
What about football?
Your fandom. Obviously, you're not a Jets fan, so
no, I'm not a Jets fan. So, ironically, my sixth grade teacher was a huge Green Bay Packers fan. So, because in Utah, Broncos, I don't care for Denver. Mm-hmm. So I was a Green Bay Packers fan for a while, and then at that point, I'm like, that was when Favre was Favre. Mm-hmm. Green Bay Packers fan, Donald Driver, like back in the day. Okay. And I just started following players. So I was a Tom Brady fan. Not gonna lie.
That's fine. Right now, I can respect them because my team beat them twice in the Super Bowl, so I'm good.
Yeah, that helmet catch, bullshit. And I still to this day don't know how that fucking happened.
You know what? But it did.
But you know what the best part about that is, or probably the worst part about it? In the off season, David Tyree was cut by the Giants.
He was
ridiculous. But like, I just want to see.
The best catch in Super Bowl history, and he got cut.
Yeah. Makes no sense.
Is that not worth anything?
No, but I like following players. I like fantasy football, so I'm not really.
I'm a big fantasy football guy too. I'm a huge Giants fan. Dave is as well. Mm-hmm. But Dave will tell you, my second team.
Yeah, the Packers.
Is the Packers.
My second team is actually the Steelers.
So there you go.
Gotcha. I mean, again, I have no beef at any of them. I'm going to Lambeau for the first time this year, actually.
Nice. Lambeau's great. I love Lambeau. Yeah, go and enjoy it. And I'll tell you a couple of breweries to go to while you're up there too.
I love that.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I'm a baseball guy. Baseball through and through. I'm a San Fran Giants fan.
Fair enough.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
my father grew up a Giants fan because he was a Giants fan when they were in New York.
Yeah.
But then he never hated the Yankees. They went to San Francisco. He couldn't root for them. So he was watching the Yankees a little bit more. Started rooting for the Mets when they came into being, but he kind of bounced back and forth. I'm a Mets fan. He stayed a Yankees fan. So I don't hate the Yankees either. So.
I respect it. I mean, Citi Field, when I went to Citi Field, it was a great time.
I loved it. Yeah, it was great ballpark.
Thing about it is I went to when the first year new Yankee Stadium opened, and I'll never forget this. Best baseball memory of all time. Mm-hmm. Is I was above the bullpen, new Yankee Stadium. Mariano Rivera comes out, doom, 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 doom. Enter Sandman just blares, and I'm just like blown away. I'm just like my jaw to the floor watching Mariano Rivera just kind of jog to the mound, and I'm just like, this is history. This is the greatest of all time, the best closer ever.
Ever.
God damn. And that was what probably 12 years ago.
As Mets fans, we do have to admit that.
Oh no, yeah, I don't hate the Yankees. The only time I've ever not rooted for the Yankees was when they were playing the Mets.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But my one of my best baseball memories, actually, it is my best baseball memory, was in the old Yankee Stadium. Was in 1978. I was at a Yankees Royals game, and during batting practice, I caught a Reggie Jackson foul ball.
Oh, sick! That's awesome.
That's cool.
That's my best. That's my best baseball memory. So,
I love
and
it.
it had nothing to do with the Mets, but. So,
my best memory is the first time you and I went to a Mets game. Is the first time I ever live saw the Mets win. Game.
Yeah,
I was like 0 for like 9.
So he vowed that day, and this is like 4 or 5 years ago or more than that. He says that he vowed that day the only time he's ever going to go to a Mets game is with me. So they won. So they win.
Now we were actually there for Keith Hernandez Day
last year.
Yeah, they were losing going into the 9th. An error by it was Washington, was it? They played.
Yeah, we were playing Washington.
A stupid error by Washington allowed us to tie the game. Then another error allowed us to win the game. It's almost like Washington conspired to say, this is for Keith. Let's boot the ball.
I can see that.
This is for Keith, and Samurai's there with Johnny, so
yeah,
we gotta let them win. So,
all right, well,
there you go. All right, hold that thought, Samurai. You started on your second beer, right?
I finished it already, John.
All right, so it was. This is what we drank right here.
What we drank?
What we drank. I said drank.
This one you said dank.
Drank. This is what we drank. You might have heard.
Maybe
you might have heard dank.
You might have stuttered.
Anyway, Kane released Cool Ship 11. It's 4.3% pale ale. Pale lager rather that they brewed with Wild East. Collab with
out of Manhattan,
out of Brooklyn, actually.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
I've only been there like 15 times.
Right. So yeah. So cheers again, gentlemen.
Well, I'm empty now, so I've got to
Hold on.
I got to grab another one now. Hold on. What I got here?
I got something for you boys. Ready for this?
Go for it.
What do you got?
So in Utah, it's not really a common beer. It's kind of ironic, but I've been trying to focus on making historical beers. And this is actually my entry. This is a Kentucky Common.
We've been seeing more and more of those.
Yeah. I've actually had a few in the last month and a half.
You were in Tennessee and Kentucky.
Yeah,
true.
So actually,
I was just in Kentucky last week. So yeah.
Yeah, this last World Beer Cup, who took silver for historical beer was actually out of Colorado. It was a Kentucky Common called Two Teeth.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Two Teeth. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. That's awesome.
But I've been working on this beer for about a year and a half, and man, I fucking love it. It's basically an amber cream ale.
Yeah.
Delicious.
I gotta love it. I love a good cream ale. I love a good amber. So
boom.
Put them together.
Ooh.
Let's do it.
Ooh.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers. Look at this thing.
Oh my God, that is
guess what style this is?
That is not a lager.
A yeasty seltzer.
No,
pretty much.
This is one of those NEIPAs. I was just this Friday at a bar in Manhattan called the Grand Delancey. The bartender there was fantastic. This guy, Fred. He's brewed at a few different places. He landed there at the Grand Delancey as a bartender, really knows his stuff. And he handed me this can of beer before I left. I said, here, I think you'll appreciate this. This is from Trillium. During the pandemic, I lived in Rhode Island. And so I was up at Trillium all the time, dropping about $200 a pop every time I was there because I think I helped pay their taxes during
sugar daddy. Damn.
Yeah. Man, without too many benefits. But at any rate, man, this one's you got melon, citrus, and a bit of onion in there as well. But not so much onion that it detracts. I really don't like the oniony beers, but it's just enough of this to cut
to make it interesting. There you go.
Yeah, to cut into the citrus sweetness and interact with that melon that's in there.
Yeah,
that's the yummy beer. Hold on, because I know somebody that's going to love this one because it's right up her alley. I'll be right back.
Go for it. I'll tell David a quick story really quick. He talks about onion. I had you ever go up to Boston too, or at San Francisco for that matter, for Extreme Beer Fest?
No, never.
All right. So my first EBF years and years ago, the first beer I had at my first Extreme Beer Fest was Long Trail had done an onion IPA. Right, it said onion IPA. So I walk up and I was like, I got to try this. Boom.
Right.
Okay, I taste it. Right. My first sip was just like this. I go, holy crap, that tastes just like onions, like that. Then my second sip was, holy crap, this tastes just like onions.
And you're done.
Done.
The other thing about this beer is right at the end.
It was not onion. Hops throwing onions. There was onions in that beer.
But what's interesting about this is when the hops kind of get done beating the hell out of your palate, because hops are so good for that, and that's what I appreciate about this. It might be an NE IPA, but it's not one of those sissy NE IPAs which just backs back on all the hop flavors and the bitterness. There's some nice bitterness to this because Trillium knows what the hell they're doing. They really do.
Trillium does. Trillium knows.
But once they're done beating the hell out of you, they back off and they let the malts go. Hey, we're here too.
I can't tell you. I mean, honestly, other than beers that we brew, the last time I actually had an IPA. Well, I had a couple while we were in Nashville, but other than that, it's a few and far between. It's all malty stuff.
Yeah, I've been off the IPAs for a while. So, when was the last time I drank an IPA in the show, John?
I can't even. About a minute ago.
Yeah.
No, but John, when's some IPAs you had in CBC in Nashville?
Southern Grist, I had a bunch down there.
That's a good brewery.
Teal was really good.
Gotcha.
And you had to have had some at
Jackalope.
Bearded Iris.
Jackalope.
Bearded Iris. Walk into Bearded Iris. Did you go to Bearded Iris while you were there, David?
That's the one place I didn't get to go to.
Oh, if you're going to have an IPA in Nashville, you have to go to Bearded Iris.
It's other half south. It's
pretty much.
We walked in there. They had a Pils on. They had an Amber Lager on. They had a 1 pastry stout, 1 IPA, and 8 double IPAs. That was the tap list.
Yeah.
That was the tap.
I mean, the Grist one, they did a collaboration with the Yakima, and I really liked that one. It was really good. They showcased that on the floor.
On the floor. That was at the Willamette Valley Hops booth that they had. That was fantastic. That was really good. I had it too.
Really good. And their slow pour pills was really good too. So Southern Grist was one of my favorite ones in Nashville.
Southern Grist might be my favorite one actually in Nashville. There's a couple outliers that I do like a lot, but Southern Grist might be. And what I love about them is just the variation of styles that they throw out there.
Gotcha.
And they do them all well.
There was one brewery that blew me away as a brewer was Fat Bottoms. I'll tell you why.
We never had any of theirs.
Fat Bottoms was in the just kind of west of Music Row, kind of sort of West Nashville. Mm-hmm. Go in there. Got a special tour because we're like, hey, we pulled the Brewer game. Hey, we're brewers. We want to see it. That's it.
We did a couple places. There's
about 12 of us, right? We walk in, and all of us are like, holy shit, your floors are amazing. Holy shit. Holy shit. For 5 minutes, we didn't look at the tanks at all. Like just, fucking A. Look at these floors. The best.
What's it about the floors?
So the thing about floors, I judge a brewery on the floors. I'm not gonna lie.
You got to start at the floor, work your way up, Dave. You have to.
You have a shitty floor, you have tile. Get out of here. If it's epoxy, make sure it flows. If it doesn't slope, go fuck yourself. If you don't have trench drains, then why are you a brewery? Go away. I don't know who you are, but these guys have the perfect floors.
Unless you're in an historic building, because sometimes it's tough to do that.
Then blow it up.
That's what Ramstein just recently replaced all their drainage.
Yep. They did.
And they're in a World War II era factory building.
So there's a reason for it. You need a drain. You got all that shit. It's got to come out.
You have to. That's we're doing that. But did you get over?
I was there when they were digging it up. That is not a smell you want to.
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be there. No. Did you get over to Fela Force? It's like. Did you go to Jackalope?
Yeah, I did Jackalope. Yeah.
It's literally 2.5 blocks away from Jackalope.
So when I went to Jackalope, it was to that point where if I have one more beer, things are going to happen. So
now, you both went to Jackalope. Neither of you went to Party Foul.
No.
Party Foul. The hot chicken there. The hot chicken there wrecked my day the next day. I will tell you that right now.
See, the thing about hot chicken, I love the hot chicken in Nashville, but I missed my bidet. I missed it so much.
Yeah, missed your bidet.
I just wanted my bidet so bad.
I really wish I'd had a bidet the next day. Instead, I wound up in a honky tonk in a bathroom in a stall with no door.
Oh.
And I won't continue. I won't continue this. John knows the rest of that story. I
Oh,
won't say that.
no, it
I'll
is.
spare you
That
the rest of
sounds
that
dangerous,
story.
yeah. A lot of drugs involved in that one, I could tell.
No, there was
you
no
won't.
drugs involved. It was just the hottest.
There should have been. That would have
I
made
really
things
wish,
easier.
I really wish there were. I would have had an excuse. Oof,
No, but
man,
Nashville was amazing. I've
That's
never
a fun
been there the
place.
first time, and holy shit, it was great.
Mhm.
Loved it.
Here we
yeah,
go.
Carrie and I are talking about going back because we've been a
Carrie
couple of-
just said cleanliness.
Yeah, cleanliness. Yeah, there was
Yeah,
no
yeah.
cleanliness.
There was no cleanliness in there.
I'll tell you though, by the time that episode was over, I was pretty damn clean.
Yeah, well,
Good for
let me
you.
tell you something.
Right
A bidet after hot chicken. Yeah,
That
I
is-
could absolutely. It's almost a necessity. You should get like a free coupon, right?
Yeah, you
For-
really should
you know.
because even
Absolutely.
the softest toilet paper is going to be sandpaper.
Right.
Nah, you don't need. It's toilet papers for heathens. We want bidet. Come on now.
Yeah. Wash it out. You're done. You're good to go. There you go.
Ever since I got a bidet, I've never looked back. Literally.
you don't need. What do you need to at that point, right? You're good to
Yes.
go. There you go. Like what you're saying. But in any event, yeah. No. Did you go over to Brewery at all?
No, actually, I did not.
We were there twice. We were there on Sunday night. They had low and slow. They had a low and slow event. It was lagers and barbecue. So that was kind of cool. They had a check.
Sunday was the rainstorm from hell.
Oh my God, it was horrible. It was
So,
pouring. Everybody's packed inside. As soon as it stopped, people
Yeah.
migrated out because they had to roll up doors. I mean,
So
they must have had like 300 barrels in there too. I mean, it's all
So I
barrel
think
aged stuff.
Sunday night was the German Fest, so they had the German pilsners or German beers, right? German brewers were talking about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Had that was we got in Saturday. I don't know, one of those 2 days, but the rain hit and we said Control Alt fuck, and we just went to a barbecue place like 2 blocks down, but we were like soaking wet.
You found a
Yeah.
barbecue place in Nashville?
Imagine that.
Yeah, that's about 15 steps.
But
So, yeah.
Martin's, fantastic.
Oh, you went to Martin's. We were Martin's. We were at Martin's on Monday night.
Yeah, so you missed me by one day.
There you go. We were at Martin's for the Deutsche had an event on Monday night. We were at Deutsche's
I love
event.
that. Did you
on
make it
Monday
to the
night.
Route Beer Fest by chance?
We went to Route. That was the second night we were there.
Wow.
I went to Route.
That's the one thing I missed.
That was fantastic, David.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so good. You should have been there.
Nah, I know. Don't tell me about it. That's my one regret in Nashville. That and not buying chaps.
We've had the host for that event was he's been on the show, John Hall.
John Hall, yeah.
Oh, John Hall. Good for you guys.
We had, in fact, we were there on Sunday night. We were there. Do you know Augie Carton?
No, I don't.
You know, Carton Brewing.
Good for you.
Yeah.
That's one, John.
We've heard of that. That's one. That's a Carton Brewing. So we're there hanging out. We're drinking with Augie. And I
That's
text.
two.
I'm sorry, that's two. I won't say it again.
You can't say it a third time.
Well,
It's like Beetlejuice. You
Well,
can't.
so he pops up on the show, and he does actually.
He
but
will.
Anyway, so I text John Hall, and I go, "Where are you?" And he tells me where he was. I forget where he was. He says, "Where are you?" I says, "I'm here at Brewery drinking with the name I won't mention." Right? He texts me back. Yeah, he texts me back. Godspeed. He goes, "That's it." So, but yeah,
half my Utah crew went there that night, so you probably ran into them for sure.
It was a great event. It
But
really
for
was.
some reason, I decided to go with the Maui Brewers and drink with Hawaiian Brewers that night instead.
That's not a bad choice at all.
It's not a bad thing.
No, but they're like, "You're from Utah. We're from Maui. Like, let's drink." Fuck yeah! And at the end of the night, like they're like, "Utah can hang." I'm like, "Oh, Maui can hang."
Well, Hawaii is. I mean, other than surfing, there's not much else to do there.
They have the Dole plantation. I love pineapples.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't run through it. You'll slice your legs in half. Those leaves are really, really sharp.
Oh, they're sharp. They're sharp.
Very sharp.
Oh, yeah. Well, wasn't there a pineapple-esque plant out in the walk while we were walking to the block on Sunday that Jess cut her finger on?
Yeah, she did. She sliced her finger open on some sort of plant right on what 15th, right?
15th, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway.
We were in John's neck of the woods at a seafood festival down the Jersey Shore. And that's the thing about Jersey. You say it's down the shore. So you don't go to the beach. You go down the shore.
Down the shore, yeah.
It's a Jersey.
It's
Jersey
a
thing.
Jersey thing. So anyway.
Sounds awful.
All right. So what are your plans coming up for the podcast? I mean, obviously going to continue it, obviously. But is there anything
So I want to do. I'm trying to partner up with another bigger podcast here in Utah. It's called I Am Salt Lake. He's been going for about 10 years. He has
Nice.
over, I believe, 500 episodes if I recall.
Oh, that's nice.
But I want to do a 24-hour podcast, and I want all the proceeds to go to the Utah Food Bank or some type of organization that can benefit from it. So
Nice.
24-hour podcast, bring on a bunch of guests about every other hour, and try to raise money for a good cause.
Almost like a podcast telethon kind of thing.
Yeah, in a way. So I imagine like the UHF. Remember UHF?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let's all make. I just want to bring money to something good. I don't need money. I don't need notoriety. I don't need popularity. I don't care about likes. I don't care about follows. I don't care about all that shit. But I want to be able to connect and help for a cause. So if we can all, as Utah brewers or fermentation makers, distillers, come together and raise money for a good cause, that's what beer. That's what beer is all about. In the end of the day,
Right.
When we make beer, like, hey, I'm done. I've had a long week. Dave, John, let's go get a beer, and you and I, we can all just sit there and just chat, have a good conversations over a pint of beer, and it's happened for centuries. And so why can't we? What we have in America, we have a really good first world opportunity to bring in a community and raise ships and for a good cause. And Utah, I want to prove to Utah that just because alcohol, it's scary. I want to be able to say, look, this is what we did. We raised money for a good cause.
We use something that's considered evil, and we use it for good.
Yeah, because
right.
I mean, you got to handle your shit. I mean, I've had my days where you enjoy too much. I mean, you have those days, but sometimes you know what?
That would be Friday.
That's a Friday.
No, that was this last Friday because when we were
Saturday,
I don't remember getting home. I don't know how we got
Sunday.
home.
Right. So you have those opportunities, but I want to prove to Utah that, like, you know what, we can do it for a good cause. Whether it's like, for pets, for shelters, for whatever. I want to show like we can do it. So that's going to come up this year. It's going to happen sometime this summer, and then I really want to do more video to try to do something like this so people can come back and watch the interaction because forever I have never done. This is the furthest podcast I've ever done. I don't do online. I don't do on the phone because I like the face-to-face. Like we're going to sit at a table and have a beer and talk about
it. This is what our third furthest, right, John?
This is our what?
Third furthest. Italy was the furthest.
Italy was the furthest.
Arizona was number 2, and now Utah.
Yeah.
So it's our third. Well,
Third
when you do this,
we've had Denver on. We've had Florida, obviously, but that's closer. But yeah, this is the third furthest. Yeah.
So after this, I might pick you guys' brains and be like, hey, how are you guys doing this and make doing what you're doing because I like it. There's brewmasters and brewers across the country I want to bring in. But lately I've been focusing on just Utah.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Terry just reminded us that we did Maine.
I like that.
We did do Maine. Maine is a lot closer than Utah though. So.
A lot closer than Utah, but that was that was fun because it was Allagash.
Oh man, Allagash. Love Allagash.
We had their taproom manager on, and that's one of the things we love is the taproom managers. Brewers can be fun sometimes. You usually need to get them stoned, but you know what I'm talking about. And then they're more interesting. Brewery owners have their thing, but the taproom manager.
Taproom manager. She was so good. I don't care. We could have had the owner of Allagash on, and he would not have been as good as she was on the show. So it was a perfect show. Yeah.
Yep. So
they're part of the front lines, so they see the shit. They see back of house, front of house. I totally get that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They know the history. They can speak to the history. They can speak to the beers, and they have that personability that is looked for someone who's going to manage a tap room.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So they make really, really great guests.
Yeah.
I just want to throw this up really quick. I'm drinking my third beer, and in honor of David coming on the show, it's a beer from Utah.
I brought that back for him. I brought him back a couple of TFs. I couldn't bring back the ones I wanted because the one thing that TF does that I absolutely love is that series of smoked beers they do, where they change the wood up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Which wood? I can't remember which wood they were using.
Well,
you
know how much I hate smoked beers.
Oh yeah, you hate them. You absolutely hate them. We did a whole Rauch beer show. with John Paul, as a matter of fact. That was a great show.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about that beer is TF is probably one of the best breweries in Utah. And what Kevin Templin, the owner of Templin Family Brewing, has done, he's been brewing for over 20, 25 years. And he's
fantastic.
Utah brought
right?
Utah brought home 4
Holy
medals.
shit.
I told you.
That was lager. I'm like, oh my God.
It's a great beer. Low percent. It's crushable. It's meant to be drank and just enjoyed. And
what I love is they've got the Lucre pours there. You can get a schnicked pour.
Yep.
You know, and unlike in some of the Jersey breweries that'll do a schnick pour, the Jersey breweries, they won't cut the price on it because you're getting mostly foam. But TF does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's half the price for a schnick.
We will.
Good. You're doing the right thing.
Absolutely. So, whatchamacallit, on that, this is stupid.
Yeah, if you ever get to Salt Lake, TF is probably one of the best. I'm not going to say probably. I think it's the best brewery in Salt Lake. There's a couple of other great breweries there. Two of them are
it's
really
not in Lehi, so it's good. It's in Salt Lake.
Well, that's not in Salt Lake, right?
Utah where I'm at.
Right. Yeah.
There's two other breweries right a couple blocks away from them in different directions. You got Ketos. I love Ketos. I love the feel of Ketos. I love the pinball machines.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they're kind of all over the map on the beers they'll brew.
Yep.
Love that. And then
right there was a Fisher Brewing is the one you probably talk about.
Yeah, and Fisher's the other.
I call that one the People's Brewery. It's all about community. It's the most. If you want to find a brewer there, if you want to find a brewer, go to Fisher because that's where we go to drink. That's where it's all about community. It's all about love. It's like the most humbling.
Nice. Yep.
The only, and I agree with that. And it's a down. My feel that was a down and dirty brewery. This is us. This is what we do. And I think the reason we didn't enjoy it as much is because we were outsiders, and you can sense that you were an outsider there.
Ah, I see that.
And it was interesting because TF was so. The one thing I mentioned to John about TF is that tap room. That tap room is such a beautiful tap room. The beers they do, the atmosphere there. You could pick that brewery up. You could drop it in Brooklyn. It would not be out of place. So many places you could drop that place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And fine.
Nice.
But the other one, that's Salt Lake.
It's the Salt Lake Brewery for sure. And I think I'm not going to doubt. Yeah, you're completely right.
Yeah, it was interesting, and it was like we don't belong here. Let's move. And so we wound up going to the brewery right around the corner from Saltfire first. Then we went to Saltfire. What's the one right around the corner?
Saltfire. There's Shades and Level Cross.
Shades. We went to Shades. Then we went to Saltfire.
Nice.
That's right. You said Shades because we were talking about the fact that you've been to
Shades
On.
Yeah, and I talked to him about that. Shades On is a brewery in Rhode Island.
I like that.
It's cool because it's SHAIDZON, and their
one
logo,
word, but it's Shades On.
But their logo is kind of like this, like Korean, like script thing. And I asked them, like, well, what does that mean? And they just went, it means
Shades On.
Shades On.
Jackasses. I love it.
So, David, I was going to say, I know you have no love lost for the Broncos or anything over there, but as far as Denver goes, Cohesion.
Oh, Cohesion Brewing's great.
Yeah,
I do like what they're doing.
What they're doing. I'm saying, have you been? I'm saying.
Oh yes, I have been. Yes.
Oh, yeah. So
check loggers.
It's a great vibe. It's a great vibe, and I like their barrel program. I like what they're trying to do. I believe they did a fooder last time I was there, and I was very impressed actually.
Oh wow!
Nice. You going to GABF this year?
I am. We're actually pouring at GABF.
Are you? All right.
So we're going to see Strap Tank. So Strap Tank, the cool thing about Strap Tank.
I will see you in September.
Then I'll see you. We'll connect. So again, I'll say real quick, Strap Tank and Taste Masters are different right now. So unfortunately, yes, I work for Strap Tank. Yes, people reach out to me for Strap Tank, but Taste Masters are, a different endeavor, right? However, Strap Tank, my work, what I do for a living, we own the Strap Tank. The first Strap Tank ever, I believe, was in 1908. Strap Tank motorcycle. Harley Davidson made that motorcycle.
Yep.
My owner, Rick Salisbury, the Salisbury family, they own Strap Tank. This Strap Tank is the first brewery since 2016, since the Prohibition. So it's a big deal in Utah County. He owns the biggest Harley Davidson collection this side of the Mississippi.
Really?
Yes, and there's 3.
That explains the name.
3 circulating Strap Tank motorcycles from Harley Davidson, right? And we own 2 of them. We outbid Harley Davidson for.
I love it.
That's
so
great.
the kind of fuck you to Harley Davidson kind of was Strap Tank. So Rick Salisbury, great guy, he named this brewery Strap Tank in honor of this motorcycle he's owned and outbid Harley Davidson. And so Strap Tank kind of has like a motorcycle forward. So most of my beers have been named after motorcycles. I have Flathead, Sportster, Ape Hanger, Sergeant Holt.
Wow.
So they're all motorcycle terms. Anyway, so at GABF, mark your calendars because we are going to bring one of the original Strap Tank motorcycles to showcase at GABF.
That's awesome.
See, I was completely wrong about the.
Can't wait to see that. That's awesome.
About the origin of the name, because Strap Tanks, the motorcycle is named after a way to store water out in the West, the Strap Tanks. So I thought that's what you're named after because you're out west, but it's actually after the motorcycle is named after those. That's really
so
kind
of
cool.
If you look at the engine on the Strap Tank, it literally is strapped onto the tank.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, Dave. I did know that it had to do with Harley Davidson.
I got
Of course you did.
I did.
Sorry, Dave.
I was on that. The problem is I'm a history major, so I went too
You're
far.
You're not wrong, Dave.
I went too far back.
But you went a little far. You went a little
I went too far back.
Yeah.
I delved too deeply and awakened the ball rock.
Had too many beers. You've been cut off.
No. It's interesting because you talk about how Tastmasters is not Strap Tank and Strap Tank's not Tastmasters, and the two will eventually.
Unfortunately, as of right now, yeah, unfortunately.
But at this moment, you see John's all decked out in a lot of gear. That all is Coastal Brew Works. That is our official sponsor.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, no, nor should you have yet, but you will eventually. And because the thing is, we have an in with one of the owners. That'd be that guy there. He does. So we do have to give them a call out every now and then. And I really think if John only managed to talk his partners into becoming our sponsors, so I would stop yelling at him for constantly turning into a Coastal Brew Works billboard on the show.
Over here, like this is like part of a prop on the show, but like we just bring it closer. There you go.
You mean one of these?
One of those. Yeah.
Washington State logo?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
It does look like that.
There's all our beers right there so far, right? We actually, well, here's the thing too, and I just want to say, I will be the first to say it. Cheers to Coastal Brew Works. Tomorrow is 1 year
You
from
only
the.
cheer when I'm out of beer.
So pour another one.
I got you, John.
Thanks, David. Thanks, David. Appreciate
Hold on,
it.
I gotta grab a beer.
All right. Tomorrow is a year ago. Tomorrow we launched our first. We did our first launch party.
Congratulations!
So
Awesome.
tomorrow's a year, and we actually just released a new beer. We've had 5 so far. We've been contract brewing for a year, and we'll have the brewery and the tasting room open. Fingers crossed by the end of the year. It's probably going to be February or March, but fingers crossed by the end of the year. Either way, we still have beer out. But we just released a brand new beer this past weekend called Mermango. So it's a New England. It's a double New England IPA, unfortunately. But hey, when you're contract brewing and you have to sell all of your beer out in market, you need to brew IPA.
You know what? So, I was hoping you were going to say it was going to be a triple hopped Belgian seltzer barrel aged
pastry
triple
sour
hop pastry Belgian seltzer with lactose. There you go.
Well,
cheers, John.
Cheers to Coastal.
Cheers to Coastal. Thank you very much.
Surprise! I'm drinking a boat, right?
Imagine that. So you should be drinking a building steak castles, but that's besides the point.
You didn't give me any.
Anyway, I gave you a Trojan Seahorse. You could have one of those.
You did, but I didn't have room in the fridge.
Yeah, I heard that Trojan shtick. Don't do it again.
Anyway, all right. You know what? Let's take a break. Let's cut it out. Let's do our top 3 list. What do you think?
You ready?
I think it's ready for the top 3. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, David. We do a top 3 for 2 reasons. One, top 3's number 3. The number 3 we are paying homage to Prohibition, 1933, 33.
Not Prohibition, repeal of
Prohibition, right? And Exactly. Much more importantly, exactly.
Says the
And
history
also, a top 10 list would take way too long because Dave and I rarely stick to 3 anyway. So in any event,
Never.
so our
Rarely?
top 3,
You mean
our
never?
top never, yeah. Our top 3. Well, actually, tonight I can't. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No.
I'm kind of doing 3. But
Well, here's the thing. I got 3, but there's multiples on each, so it's more than 3.
I did the same thing. Okay.
All right, there you go. So anyway, David, kick us off.
The one thing to mention here is, for every show, we will reach out to the guests and ask them to pick a top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Every now and then they will. And this is one of those occasions where our guest picked one that made me very, very surprised that we had never thought of this.
We never did. We did something. The only time we actually did, we've had top tequilas. We have top 3 tequilas, right? And we also did top 3 non-beer holiday libations. We did that one before.
Ooh,
But
I like that one.
But we've never, and that was obviously around Christmas. But we've never done spirits cocktails. So top 3 favorite spirits or indoor cocktails. David, take it away.
Absolutely. So I'm going to do 2 spirits, 1 cocktail. Ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
There we
So
go.
number 3, I'll start it off. Barreled aged gin.
Johnny's
Love
with you
barrel
right
aged
there.
gin. Love barrel aged gin. I
It's
do.
gotta
I
be the
love
barrel,
barrel aged gin.
I'm specific on the barrel. The barrel.
I've had old fashions with barrel aged gin, and they've been fantastic.
That's
So,
a secret weapon.
David, what barrels? Specific? Do you have any specific barrels?
I like French Armagnac barrels. Oh my god.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Ooh,
There's just something about it that I can't get, or anything that's Jamaican rum barrels.
Okay.
Man, oh man. I'm a sucker for them. Is that it?
That's
And then American rye for sure.
definitely see. Oh,
Am I going 2 and 1, or are you guys going 3 and then 2 and then
there's usually no damn order.
No, yeah. You go 3, 2, 1, or whatever you want. Yeah.
All right, so 2 as a cocktail. Right now, I'm getting hot and bothered for mezcal soda with a squeeze of an orange peel. Boop. Love it. Got a mezcal.
Light the oil or not light the oil?
No lithium oil.
Just toss it in. Gotcha.
And then number 1, spirit, Gaia, Mother Earth. She's my spirit.
I'm like, I've not heard of that one. Is that French?
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
That's sweet. So I've been meditating. This year, my goal is in meditation. So I've been in a lot of meditation, focusing on my breath, and going outside more. I don't like stepping in. I don't like grass or clean cut grass, but getting my feet in the dirt and grass and just kind of being one with the world, the earth. Like, man, the earth is beautiful. It's great. Been traveling more. So my number 1 spirit is Earth, Gaia.
You talk about, that's awesome, and you talk about grass or whatever. I love grass, but don't say it, Dave. No. I love grass, but I live at the beach, right? So there's either blacktop or sand or rocks, right?
Yeah.
There's not a whole hell of a lot of grass in Belmar, New Jersey.
Don't forget shells.
So shells too.
Some of the yards are made of shells.
And cigarette buds.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
But I have to absolutely agree with you. The whole reason we came to Utah was to do the Big 5. You know, we started off at Canyonlands.
But like the beauty of Earth, like that's all natural. It's all real.
You got 5 major national parks in southern Utah. All 5 of them are completely different. People ask me, which was your favorite? Like, how do I compare Canyonlands to Arches, to Zion, to Bryce? There's and then there's Capitol Reef. They're entirely different places.
there you go.
All along the southern border of Utah.
And once you're there, especially if you do psychedelics, I'm not promoting it, but if you did, like it's something different.
It's all legal now. It's fine.
It's something. I mean, the
Ish.
Earth is beautiful.
But you just said Gaia is your spirit, and I'll tell you one thing. I've been hiking. I used to be an avid hiker. Age, weight, post-COVID syndromes have kind of cut that down a little bit. But at the time, when I was at the peak of my hiking, one of the things I loved about it is getting out there and getting to a point in the hike where you are just torn down to your basic needs, where having Wi-Fi is not important anymore. The taste of your food's not even important anymore. You are broken down to warmth, hydration, sustenance, and that's pretty much it. The only really three things that you need to sustain life, and you get broken down to that. And you're probably usually at this point in pain. Your muscles are probably screaming at you at this point, but spiritually, you can't get much higher. It's really something else. I kind of miss those days. Doing something like that now would probably actually kill me. But I do miss that. It was really something else.
That's all. Mind and heart and soul, man.
Yeah.
Love's the most powerful energy, vibration in this entire universe. As long as you're living with love, as long as you guys keep doing this podcast with passion and love, man, going outside with love.
Even though it was started out of boredom, it turned into a love.
We started 8 months after you, but this podcast was born out of the pandemic, right? Yeah. So
but you guys have a passion for it. You guys can feel it.
Well, it's that. Look, what Dave and I are doing every Tuesday is nothing that Dave and I didn't do on a regular basis several times a week.
We just didn't broadcast it.
We just didn't broadcast it.
And you still find an excuse to keep your pants off. It's weird.
There you go.
Yeah. How do you know I'm not wearing pants?
We saw you stand up.
Oh, okay. Go get the thing. All right, so my three.
Your three. Go for it.
John likes to go last because he likes to get pissed at me if I steal any of his.
But he knows what I'm going to do on this one. So if he takes any of mine, he knows damn well that he did. So that's besides the point.
One of them, and mine are in no particular. Well, my number one is my number one. Johnny knows my number one. Mm-hmm. These are in no particular. But 2 and 3 are in no particular order. I'm going to start with something we mentioned earlier, and that was a nod to Scott Wells, White Russians. Mm-hmm. I adore this. I've done plays on it. I've taken the vodka and replaced it with a pumpkin spice vodka, which you would think I hate pumpkin spice. I despise it, and I had this.
He hates pumpkin spice probably more than you do, but he actually loves his White Russian with a pumpkin spice vodka.
Wow!
When I first did it, I brought in a friend of mine who hates pumpkin spice more than I do. And I gave this drink to him, told him full on what it was because I wanted the bias to take place. And he puts it down and looked at us. I hate you right now because I don't hate this. Damn you. Damn you. Right. Damn you to hell. So, but I've done a few plays on it, but a straight up White Russian is a beautiful thing. One of the more caloric drinks you're going to come across that aren't frou-frou. But I do love it. The other one I'll mention before my number one is there's so many drinks that are pretty much the same drink. You've got your clear spirit, you've got your citrus, and you've got your simple syrup, right? So we're talking the lemon drop martini, we're talking the Ricky, and we're talking the margarita. These three things are pretty much plays on the same exact recipe. All the ratios are exactly the same. And I love when you take these spirits, add that citrus, put a little simple syrup in there just to cut into it a little bit. But of those, my favorite is probably that lemon drop. I really do. It's a nice, clean, beautiful, beautiful drink. But my number one, because I just talked about clean spirits, those dark spirits. I love the dark spirits. Bourbon is one of my. Not the dark spirits.
It's not on more than one level, Dave, is it?
not that dark spirit. But those dark liquids, and bourbon's one of my passions. Love my bourbon. So for me, one of the best ways to present a bourbon in a cocktail is the Manhattan. And I've
very biased because you're there in that area. Seems very biased because you guys are in that area.
No, we're in New Jersey. We're not close. Oh, you mean Manhattan? Yes.
Close. Yeah.
You can call it a rose by any other name, but still smell.
Dave, you're a lot closer to Manhattan than I am. Okay?
Yeah,
you're a lot closer to Manhattan than a lot of other people. You're about like a mile away from Manhattan.
A lot closer than I am.
I got news for you. I can walk right over there, open the window, and see it. Right. I'm right across the river, and I work there.
I can walk over there, open the window, and see the ocean. I mean, is that?
But to my point, a rose by, you can call the Manhattan whatever you want. A rose by any other name would still smell just as sweet. Call it what you want, but you take the sweet vermouth, you take the Manhattan, you take your bitters, and you drop that cherry down in it, and I played around with many bitters. I've substituted out the vermouth with a few different things. I've done it with Amaro. I've done it with Aperol. I've done it, I think, with Grand Marnier. Just play around with it, and that's my favorite right there, number one. If I'm someplace and they're like, what, and they don't have craft beer, and it's a cocktail bar, what are you having? I want their Manhattan. Pour me Manhattan.
Love
there
it.
You go. Fair enough. Right. I'll start it off. I'm giving you 3 spirits. I'll expound upon the number 2 and the number 1 in cocktails,
which is interesting. Before you start, John, and John knows this about me, I drink very few cocktails, and I mentioned 3 cocktails rather than actual spirits. I usually drink all my spirits neat.
Yeah.
It's rare that I drink cocktails, but those are the cocktails I drink.
So my number 3, I'm going to tell you is Amaro. There's been a lot of craft Amaros lately. And Bully Boy Distillers up in Boston make amazing Amaros, and there's a lot of other distillers, craft distillers, not big boys or whatever, that are making amazing Amaros. But Bully Boy Distillers up in South Boston, in Southie and Dorchester area.
Yeah, Dorchester. Yeah,
right. They make an Amaro. They make a double Amaro. They double the rhubarb, so it's they call it Rhubarbaro, Amaro Rhubarbaro. And it's amazing. Some bittersweet liqueurs if you want, if you want to call it that. But yeah, Amaros. I'll take Amaro. I'll take their Amaros. I'll take craft Amaros. Right. I'm not going to buy something that's mass produced and something like that or whatever. But I'll take those craft Amaros and I'll pour them over ice and I'll have them on the rocks. I'll drink them straight. I'll drink them straight on the rocks. On their own, so and they're fantastic.
Straight and on the rocks are 2 different things.
Straight and on the rocks, both.
Straight
I'll drink
and
them straight and on the rocks. Yeah,
gotcha.
So anyway, move on to number 2, bourbon. Right, bourbon is my October to April spirit. Right, over the winter, bourbon is my October.
Which is weird because I drink it January through December.
Oh, you know what? I will drink everything all year long, but for the most part, I'll drink more bourbon from October to April, right? And I will drink old fashioned is my favorite. I will have an old fashioned. I'll have a traditional old fashioned, with simple syrup, orange, Luxardos, so forth and so on. But I make a version with bourbon, maple syrup pure maple syrup replaces the simple syrup.
Not the maple flavored corn syrup.
No, not that shit. Right? Yeah, maple syrup.
That's evil. Should be banned.
Right. True maple syrup. The black walnut bitters instead of Angostura. I'll use black walnut bitters.
And you can thank Tom for that one.
No. Tom can thank me for that.
Oh, that's right. It's the other way around. You
Yeah.
introduced Tom to that, right?
Yeah. And then and Luxardo cherries. That's my favorite old fashioned.
And the thing about the cherries is for my Manhattans, because Luxardos, I don't know if I'm in the tax bracket to afford Luxardos. So what I do is I will buy the maraschinos, but I'm not maraschinos is the proper way to pronounce them. But I won't just drop them in with all that red food dye. So I like to rinse the hell out of them, and I replace all that liquid with rye. So if you have one of my Manhattans, be careful when you pop that cherry. Because it'll shock most people.
Yeah, there you go. But I also enjoy a good Manhattan too. But I will definitely I enjoy a Manhattan with vermouth, but I will definitely replace the vermouth with Amaro, and I will have a Manhattan with 50-50 bourbon Amaro. Maybe 60-40 bourbon Amaro.
Yeah, so it should be 60-40.
Yeah, I mean, but it depends on my mood, right? So 6-1, either 50-50 or 60-40, and I'll throw a couple Luxardos in there too. By the way, Luxardos, there's a place not too far away from me that when their Luxardos are getting a little long in the tooth, which I actually prefer them like that, they discount them. That's when I pounce and I grab a couple.
Let me know next time I'll Venmo you some stuff to get me some.
There you go. And then my number one, and Dave, what's my number one?
Gin and tonic.
Gin, just gin.
Just straight up gin, but you make a gin.
Gin and tonic. But I will, gin and tonic's my number one go-to cocktail with gin. I really enjoy Negroni. Obviously, if I'm an Amaro devotee, obviously throwing a little bit of the bitter liqueurs in there with Campari or anything like that and making a Negroni. But an East Side, if you ever had an East Side, I don't know if you ever had an East Side. It's a gin and tonic basically with lime and cucumber, or a gimlet with cucumber.
So
right?
it's kind of East Side.
Pretty much.
Not that.
Put those down. I'm West Side.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So the whole. But the one thing, and John's heard me say this, New Jersey, we've got a bunch of craft distilleries here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do whiskey well, but New Jersey does do some damn good gins.
Really?
Really good gins, actually. And there's not too far away from me, Asbury Park. You've heard of Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Might be
right?
one of the best gins produced in New Jersey.
And then they make a barrel-aged gin that's ridiculously good. And that's the one that I have all the time in a barrel-aged gin old-fashioned. They're amazing. It's so good. And it's literally 5 minutes from me right over here at Asbury Park.
Dangerous.
Yeah. So
I love that. Well done, gentlemen.
There you go. All right.
And thank you so much for that suggestion.
That was an awesome suggestion. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Loved it.
It's funny because John and I both immediately went to, we have a Google Sheets where we keep track of everything to see, we've definitely done this before.
It's been like 3 years. Have we done this before?
We hadn't done this? How the hell have we not done this?
I'm glad I figured something out.
That
you
was
guys
awesome.
haven't done.
Yeah, kudos to you to pull something up we haven't done. First shot, too. It wasn't even like he had a whole bunch of suggestions.
Exactly.
First out of the box.
That was awesome.
Thank you for that.
So, all right. So let's start with the brewery because I want to finish with the podcast. What's coming up? Anything interesting? Events, beers, whatever with Strap Tank?
Yeah, so Strap Tank, we have something called Brewstillery, which is going to happen in June. Also in June, we have a Utah Brewers Guild. So a bunch of breweries in Utah are getting together. So we collaborated with another brewery in Utah, and we're going to showcase another beer in Utah with another brewery. So it's a bunch of breweries collaborating, and we all collaborate and showcase a beer. That's happening on the 17th in June.
New Jersey does that. What's interesting is all the breweries get together for one big beer fest where they all collaborate on one beer. They do it on a battleship.
Oh, that's really cool.
The Battleship New Jersey, actually.
Yep. Yeah, so we just do it on top of a bunch of Mormons.
Because you don't really have a place to put a battleship, do you?
No.
We
got a battleship place.
Well, they could like bring it in, airlift it in, and put it down.
Salt Lake. Right. What? How deep is the Salt Lake? About this deep?
It's about this deep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So you basically walk like out in the middle of it, and you're ankle deep. Guys.
Right. So we're doing that, and then we have a few other brew fests in Utah, and then as Strap Tank individually, we are coming out with our first ever peach kolsch. So we're making a kolsch.
Oh,
a little bit of love tap of peach. So imagine a traditional kolsch.
It's like just a kiss of peach kind of thing.
Yeah, not a fruited kolsch, just a little bit of that.
A kiss of peach.
Yeah, because you put too much in it, and there's no kolsch left.
No, I can't call it a kolsch. You can call it a fruited beer at that point, right?
Yeah. And Dave, go for it. It's kolsch
style.
Kolsch style, Al, right? Yeah, because the TTB, right? We're not in Cologne, it's not a kolsch, right? And my favorite is obviously New England IPA. It's the New England style IPA in New Jersey because we're not in New England. But my favorite is Vienna style lager. I'm like, hello, it's a Vienna lager, not because it's brewed in Austria, because we use Vienna malt.
But
it's
TTB.
still a Vienna lager.
Figure it out, TTB. Let's go.
I know, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that, and then in the fall we're gonna have a really cool. We have a great. So we're not doing pumpkin beers anymore.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you.
So we're doing something called a wassail, which is a.
I love wassail. I love wassail.
51% malt.
Yep.
The rest is going to be apple juice, pineapple juice, and a little bit of cinnamon. That's it.
Wassail's great. I love
and
wassail. It's good. One choice. That's nice.
Every year, Johnny tortures me by making me do a pumpkin beer
We
show.
do one pumpkin beer show. We do one a year, one pumpkin beer show.
And
my
I said,
my better half, she's downstairs right now. She's a big pumpkin
Awesome.
beer fan. She
And you know
loves
what?
pumpkin beers.
And bless their hearts, I want one pumpkin beer. I want one
Yeah.
Starbucks pumpkin latte, one pumpkin beer,
And you're
that's
done.
it.
You're done. Right. There are a few, and when I say a few, I don't mean many. I mean there are literally a few.
There's
They're
one
like
I enjoy,
2 or 3
and I still
that
have a
I
bottle
actually
of it
like.
over there.
But I can't drink more than 1 or 2 of them anyway. Period. Like throughout 2 months, right?
Right.
I'm drinking during September and October. I'm drinking Märzen's. I'm drinking Dunkels. I'm drinking Doppelbocks. I'm drinking Hefts. I'm not drinking pumpkins, but there are a couple that I do appreciate. They're actually done well. So we do one show a year, pumpkin ales. That's it.
That's great. But we're trying to figure out a holiday beer that's not just because everyone in Utah does a pumpkin beer. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we make a festive beer that's not pumpkin or allspice flavored?
Mm-hmm.
So Wassell's the one we
I
went.
like that idea.
Wassell's a great idea. I love that. That's great.
Yeah, so
I love
that's
good
that.
Wassel.
And then besides that, I mean, there's 3 of us on the team: Derek, Julie, and myself. Julia is a big bad bitch in Springville. She's awesome. She's the one that started the Pink Boots chapter in Utah.
Big bad
Oh,
bitch. Love it.
nice. Good for her.
And Derek DeBoard here at Strap Tank currently, he is our leader. And we have a great team, and we're gonna come out with fantastic stuff.
And I love the fact she's part of Pink Boots. We had the head of the Pink Boots Society from Texas on the show.
Oh hell
She was the secretary of the entire Pink Boots Society.
Yes,
I love
and
that.
she was Debbie Serta. She was
so I think about Pink Boots is really cool because Pink Boots,
really
because brewing started with women. I believe that. Like, I mean,
we've talked about this countless.
We should send him Tara's book.
We got it. Yeah.
So
I have Tara's book.
You have Tara's book. Good for you.
Trust me, I know it. Yeah. And so it's like,
if
we talked about Tara's book when she released it on the show. So there.
Oh, I love that. So when Julia started the Pink Boots chapter in Utah, it's like, duh, why wasn't this here? Right.
What you got to do is send us your copy. We'll hunt Tara down and get her to sign it for you.
I would love that. Yes, sure. Thank you so much. I would love
Absolutely.
that.
And if you go back through our past episodes, you can see when she was on the show. She's a joy. She is a treasure of beer knowledge.
I love Tara. Tara's great. Tara's great.
I love it. I will. Yeah.
Absolutely. I got that. My copy's sitting right over there.
Stop rubbing it in. Fuck.
Yeah. All right. And on that note, what's in store over the next month?
Other than wanting to go video.
Other than wanting to go video for
so I'm going to do some I do Taste Masters live. So I do a lot of Taste Masters lives at these beer events. So I record guests that are at the events, and then I do it live. So I get people from the streets talk about, hey, what do you know about beer, or like, what do you want more in the beer industry? And they'll give me the feedback right there, live, raw, and then I post it.
Well, in a couple weekends, Johnny and I will be at the AC Beer Festival. Mm-hmm. Johnny will be there representing Coastal Brew Works. I will be there representing the Lager Room guys. And what I'm going to do is viciously and with extreme prejudice hunt down every guest who's ever been on the show. Mm-hmm. And go live with them. So the first guest, that'll be probably fun and informational. But the more guests, the deeper we get into it, the more times I go live, the drunker I'm going to be. So it's going to be, and the drunker they're going to be too. That's
the kicker there, right there.
So by the end of AC Beer Fest, and the best part about AC Beer Fest, and the reason AC Beer Fest is the second largest beer fest in the country. It's in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
GABF's number 1, AC Beer Fest number 2.
Yep. I thought World Beer Cup was number 1.
In the States.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. In the States. And I've never been because I like pouring at them. I don't like being on the side where the drunks are. I don't like that. But I'm going to go this year, and I'm going for one reason. And most people who know about AC Beer Fest know I'm going this year. Is because it's the AC Beer and Music Festival, and the Saturday that I'm going, the headliner will be the Dropkick Murphys.
Oh, it's my favorite country band of all time.
Country band.
And on the Sunday, 311 is going to be there too. So.
Oh yeah. I love rock music. So, but the funny thing about it is my boss, Derek DeBoard here at Strap Tank, that's all he listens to is punk rock. So,
Oh, good for him. That's not a bad thing.
if you get
New, like new stuff, old punk rock, right? He listens
all
to
of it.
yeah.
All of it. Interrupters, Misfits.
Really?
Do you get neopunk too, like the Offspring?
All of it. And so
I love the Offspring.
For 4 days, 4 out of 5 days, punk rock. One day it's like alternative 80s, maybe.
Not bad.
That's not a bad thing.
That's not a bad thing.
Well, considering that John,
I was going to say, talking to two of us, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, because John and I are,
we resemble that remark. So.
Yeah, John and I are planning to go to a show down at the Stone Pony, which is Squeeze and the Psychedelic Furs.
And I heard him just get wet from that. He loves that.
You can hear him. That is being attuned with your. That's being attuned with your boss, where you can hear him get wet.
You can hear him, yeah. That's kismet.
I have nothing against punk rock, but when I hear the same music station
over
all the times, like I know
you got to change it up. You got to listen to something different on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday.
Yeah, Wednesday is supposed to be Taylor Swift.
At least once.
I got to tell you really quick, David. I obviously do the sports podcast on Wednesdays as well, and I'm Jersey Johnny. Obviously, not just because I'm in New Jersey. I also I'm a jersey collector. So anywhere I go, I bring the jersey of that team, and I go to the football stadium. I put the jersey on. I go into the pro shop. I buy a cap. Boom! I'm a big cap guy too. Anyway, so we go over to Titan Stadium. We were in the Nissan Stadium. He has
a great head of hair. He's just too lazy to comb the damn stuff.
Well,
so he always wears the cap.
Caps, right. So we go over to Nissan Stadium, right? And it was a beautiful area. It's like right by you saw it, right? By the river. It was gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
So we went over there on Thursday. Everybody was done. The CBC was done on Wednesday. We stayed an extra day on Thursday because we wanted to do some sightseeing. We wanted to do a couple things around Tennessee, right? Around Nashville. So we went over there. That was one of the things we had to do. So we went over there on Thursday. There was still glitter on the ground at Nissan Stadium on Thursday. And here's the thing, though. The last show of Taylor Swift was Sunday in the rain, and there was still glitter on the ground.
She played until 2:30 in morning.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good for her.
In the rain, in the pouring rain.
And she paid. She sugar mama. Good for you, Taylor.
But she actually artist. Like her music, don't like her music. Respect her for the fact that she's actually a true artist. Yeah, she really is. She writes her music. She plays her instruments.
She played for the people.
Yeah, no, she does, and I respect her, and I
love her for it. Yeah.
Kudos for that. But it's crazy though. Everybody that was there, the masses and masses of people that were there, and how they were acting and everything else. It was literally like she's the second coming of the Beatles when it comes to fandom. I'm like, oh my God, holy shit!
Wait, she wasn't.
The culture. I mean. So you're talking about sports. You're talking about culture. My first time in Salt Lake City, I was with my young son. He's 19 now. No, 18.
Oh, bless his heart.
He's 18. He's going to be 19 in days from now. So we're going through Salt Lake City, and I saw one of the most beautiful, most important sculptures in all Salt Lake City. It's called it's called Stockton to Malone. And I had to explain to him what it was.
I'll tell you what it was. Is the Jazz will be really good at making the playoffs, but never win championship.
No, because they only ever had 3 great players: Stockton, Malone, and I forgot their other point guard, Nowitzki. No, Nowitzki. That's Dirk. That's what the hell was the other guy's name?
Just recently?
You could stop No. Stockton and the mailman were the only really.
Yeah, that's it.
Stop it too. You can stop it too. Yeah. I mean, maybe it was somebody when they were in New Orleans, but
it was no. It wasn't in New Orleans.
Darren Williams.
No.
That's it. You fuck off. Like that's all we got.
You can stop at Stockton and the mailman. You're good.
That's it.
There was one other.
Nope. Sorry.
Hornacek.
Nope.
Paul Hornacek.
Jeff Hornacek.
Well, Jeff Hornacek. But Utah's really good.
Paul Hornacek.
Jeff.
Paul.
But Utah's really good, and I'll give Utah credit. We're really good at getting your hopes up, getting you as far as it's like the New York Bills. will get you to really close to Super Bowl, a championship, and then
You're talking to two Mets fans.
Yeah, really.
yes, you get it.
We're also Rangers, New York Rangers fans in hockey.
Yeah, fuck off. So we're really good at wearing pinstripes, but we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, we know disappointment.
We're
so we
the Mets. We're the Mets. We suck and can't.
Well, right here. There's my Giants.
But the Giants have won so many Super Bowls in our life.
Tied for number 3 in Super Bowl wins of all time.
I'm convinced you're a Giants fan after the helmet catch. I'm convinced.
Oh, I've been a Giants fan since they were 3-13 in the 70s. Okay, so all right. Trust me, I earned those Super Bowl wins.
I've been a Giants fan since the Herm Edwards fumble.
And fumble? No, not the butt fumble. The miracle in the Meadowlands when Joe Pizarchik fumbled the ball, handing it off to Larry
on a kneel down.
Kneel down. Should have kneeled down, and he handed it off, and Herm Edwards picked it up and ran it in for Philly. That was in November 1978, and I was at that game.
And that was the year I was a Giants fan. And the reason I was a Giants fan that year is because the year prior to that, almost every player of the Pittsburgh Steelers had retired at once. So only Stallworth was left.
There you go. So anyway, all right. All right. Any other stuff you want to throw out there really quick before we wrap up the show?
You know what? I will say this one thing. Gentlemen, whatever you do, lead with passion and lead with love. Whatever I can do to help you in Utah, anytime you guys or any of your fans are out in Utah, hit me up. I'll make it happen.
Absolutely. And when you have that marathon, if you've got any slots you can't fill, let us know.
I won't, but thank you.
You probably won't. You've got enough stars out there.
No, I'll reach out. Absolutely, I love that.
Because remember, we're 2 hours difference from you, so we can probably fill time slots that people don't want.
Yeah, so 3 a.m. I'll call you at 3 a.m.
We'll do it.
Will we 1 a.m. our time? I might still be.
Do it. And if you want to throw some sports in here too, there's on the sports podcast we do on Wednesday nights. There's 3 of us. It's myself, Radio Pete, who's in Long Island. He's in North. He's got
a face, and he's got a face for radio.
I used to work with him in radio too. And Harry Lugnuts, Bernie is his name. He's in Denver, so he's right there. So he's same time zone. So
and I finally met Bernie, and for some reason, because of the way he sits at the microphone, I really thought he was like 5'6". He's a tall dude. Yeah, he's the one who sings on the opening theme song to the show.
Yeah, the one. Yeah,
love that. But I'm a huge advocate for collaborations, especially here in Utah.
Absolutely.
But I love collaboration within podcasts, within the community, and in America we are a community, and in the world we're even a bigger community. So if you guys need anything or want to collaborate, whatever it is, reach out to those individuals or to me. It doesn't matter.
Funny you bring that up because I'm working right now with a podcaster in Ireland. For when I go to Ireland, and when I'm in Ireland to try to get them on the show.
I love that.
We'll probably do this till one of us dies.
Oh, so next week?
I'll probably be first.
Yeah. Well, either way, and it'll continue after that anyway, so it doesn't matter.
We'll pick some, if John ever gives me the password to the program.
You have it.
I do not.
You have it.
You never sent it.
Well, I'm not going to tell you now.
I don't even know how to get my email on the website.
That's the same password. So anyway, all right. David, stick around. We want to talk to you for a couple minutes after we sign off. But on that note,
here's the outro.
Here's the outro.
And he's going to watch this. He's going to look off to the side. He's going to read. He has done this without his notes. So I challenge you to look the other direction, John, and do this.
We wrap the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you not just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website.
You peaked.
It's a habit. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGEROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night, usually around 6:30 or so p.m. Eastern time. And for those of you, well, tonight was different. Well, we have somebody from Utah on, so
exactly. And in August we will probably go a little earlier.
Because you'll be in Ireland, right? Exactly. For those of you who want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Amazon Music Podcast, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. David, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. This was an amazing show. One of our better ones, I have to say, and not blowing any smoke. So anyway,
he's not peeing on your leg and telling you it's right.
Absolutely not. So anyway, have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly, and enjoy Memorial Day weekend.
But
definitely just don't barbecue and get drunk. Respect and honor your, fallen heroes.
Our fallen dead, yeah.
Our fallen heroes that have gotten us to where we are today.
Who gave the ultimate price for freedom.
Absolutely. And enjoy, folks. Take care. We'll talk to you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.